Assalamu alaikum. This is Pasha, the author of The Double Cross, and I have a question. Did you know that on the tombs of our ancestors, European grave robbers that renamed themselves Egyptologists discovered a repeated mantra, know thyself? Now, why would our ancestors inscribe this on their tombs? What does it mean to know thyself? Before I get to that divine message left by us to follow, I want to speak on what not knowing thyself is and the harm it has done to us as a people, as well as so many others that are not knowing. I can give you the history of most people on the earth, both how they lived and how they died. I've studied it, but my concern lies with my nation. I don't speak to make you racist. I speak to remind you of those who are racist against you, and to let you know that they still are. They would never give that up, never. They do not want you to know yourself. They only want you to know the self that they created for you. Understand that they went to great lengths to create the conditions of our minds, body, and spirit. Do you know what it means to make laws, both state and federal, allowing you to be sold, beaten, raped, killed? Do you know what it means to create laws that prevent us from reading, living where we want, and from sitting at the front of the bus? I can't believe that we are not understanding this. Our enemy has not changed. He is still our enemy. He and she are still out in the streets with their rebel flags and the sheets. He is our enemy, and he and she wants only our total destruction. Your demise, our demise, and until we fully understand this, know thyself is beyond our reach. This is the double cross. The police has been murdering our people in the streets for decades and centuries, shooting them 15, 20, 43 times. Is that love or hate? Is that love or hate? One of the wisdoms that comes with knowing thyself is that you also know others. We all come into existence with the same capabilities. The Most High has created everything in pairs. Everything has an opposite. We all have the capability of loving as well as hating. The people that have hated us since they discovered us have made their decision. They are not hiding it. We see them in the streets marching and screaming, white power. Today, we see them in police uniforms. We see them in judges' robes. We see them in suits as prosecutors, congressmen and congresswomen, senators and governors. We see them in every facet of life. And yet, we don't really recognize them for who they are because we don't know ourselves. We don't know where we fit in. You see, it's never really ever been about them. We battled invaders before. It's all about us. The problem is that we have lost sight of that. And let me tell you how I know that we've lost sight of it. Because it's impossible to make a free man a slave. It can't happen. Let me say that again. It's impossible to make a free man a slave. Why do you think so many men and women jumped overboard once on the slave ship? And our sisters, they took their children with them. How strong was that? Do you realize how much strength that took? There were numerous slave uprisings where every white man, woman, and child were killed for thinking that they could enslave royal blood. Nat Turner was not the only one. Haiti, we remembered who they were, rose up and defeated the hatred, ran it out of their nation because of the love that came with knowing who they were. Knowing thyself is a lifestyle. You better believe it. And if you don't, then ask yourself, why has so much been done to erase the knowing of who we are, the knowing of ourselves? Why was our names changed? Why was our beliefs changed? Why were we not allowed to keep our languages, our style of dress? All of this should have been passed down from generation to generation. And yet today, most of us only know English. We arrived here in this country with multiple languages and cultures, which were all destroyed, lost, gone forever. And if you don't believe that these things are important, that knowing thyself is key, then look at our condition without them. The Asian nation are here represented. They have their communities in Korea towns, Chinese and Japanese restaurants. Their culture and knowing thyself is represented. The Latin nations are present. They have their salsa and Taco Bells, and the Italians have their little Italys and Pizza Huts. The Greeks have their gyros, etc., all representing themselves. And they take pride in knowing themselves, and they bring their culture, dress, and language to the world. And what do we have? What is our dress, our culture, our language? What, soul food? Mixed with the slop that the enslavers tossed out in the trash? Feet and tails and toes and guts? What else? A few pockets of our nation scattered around the country that attempt to regain the power in knowing our heritage and traditions are slighted and laughed at by us instead of being supported. That's how ignorant we have become when we don't know thyself. When you know thyself, black man, you know that the Most High created you as the vicegerent of the earth, the ruler. You are the first man, the prototype for all men. Civilization as we know it don't exist without you. You are the father. It is your seeds that are scattered around the globe. Black woman, you are the mother. You nurtured the seeds. You brought them into life. You carried them within yourself. They don't exist without you. Being every woman is not just a song by Shaka Khan. It's a truth that you must learn to accept and know in order to know thyself. It's impossible to build when you don't recall or know that you are a builder. It's impossible to reign as king or queen when you have no knowledge of your royal kingly blood. Everything that you are, that we are as a nation, is within us. It's in the blood. The blood that flows through our veins today has been handed down from centuries, for decades, from those that lived here in the 1400s, 15s, 16s, 17s, 18s, and 1900s until you received it. All that information and knowledge and experience is flowing now within your veins. If you would only tune in and listen to it. The Most High intentions for us has not changed. We have a once brave, fearless nation that now sits on its ass waiting for someone else to act, waiting for someone else to lead. A once proud nation that knew themselves, created astrology, mathematics, performed internal surgeries, built pyramids in the 1st century that still stand today. A once conscious nation that knew thyself, that knew God, the Creator, sat on the throne within us. And by knowing thyself, we knew God, our Creator. The true knowledge of God is that what He has made us into and what He has given us, our kingship, builders, scientists, and the knowledge that to know thyself is to know that God, the Creator, has resided in us and given us the abilities that we have, the entrepreneurship that we bring to the world globally, the source of our power, and even in our death, our ancestors would not allow us to forget that. And they reminded us of this on their tombstones, in their crypts. Black man, black woman, know thyself. This is the double cross. Assalamu alaikum.